Hello everybody and welcome back to Learn Hittite, and today I've got a little quick video for you which is kind of a follow-up to a video that I did a few months ago on the Heggarty 2023 paper titled Language Trees with Sampled Ancestors Support a Hybrid Model for the Origin of Indo-European Languages. Now if you haven't seen my video on this article, please go and check it out. I gave my opinion on it. I was a little bit negative, very moody in that video because I have my issues with this piece of research alongside many other people. My main criticisms that I presented in that video revolved around the poor quality of the Hittite data and the fact that a lot of the data was curated by a relatively small amount of people, despite the methodology that they presented in the article itself. Generally, this Heggarty article has been very divisive amongst the linguistic, genetic, archaeological community, with lots of interesting debates taking place. A few days ago, there was a letter published in response to the Heggarty article, and this letter was also published in Science, and you can find it below the original Heggarty article. This letter was put together by a team of Danish linguists, which include Kroonen, Olander and Hillersted. Amongst others. They provide a short but sweet criticism of the article, namely that the protoforms presented in the Heggarty article predate the archaeological attestation of said thing by a significant period of time in some cases. And it's not in the article itself, but they provide you a nice link and they've put together this really cool visual representation so you can see exactly what they mean. So please go and check this out. Now, the letter that was provided by the Danish team actually is similar to a critique that was put forward back in August by Strunk and Kassian. Their critique can also be found online. It's called an informal review of Heggarty et al. 2023, and they go into some of their issues with the paper. To begin with, they actually do point out the good parts of the paper. They're actually complimentary of the data set, the lexical data set that the team came up with. Now, I'll say from the beginning that I really respect Strunk for his work on data sets and etymologies, protoforms in some of the more obscure language families in the world. So to be honest, if Strunk says that the data sets are good, then it probably means that they are. However, they do point out some weaknesses. They point out the same weaknesses that I pointed out with Hittite language data set, and they also mention one or two things I think about Greek and Gothic, although I don't actually think that they did a deep dive into every single language data set. It's just their observations from those four that they looked into. Their main criticisms focused on the reliability of the statistical analysis. They also point out that according to the Heggarty paper, according to their research, it shows unity between the Anatolian and Tocharian language families. Now, not many, if any, linguists today believe that Tocharian and Anatolian actually form their own branch. It's pretty funny because I did a video not long ago on the same thing. I don't believe it either. I just think that they split off from proto-Indo-European in a close time period. But I thought it would be interesting to see what we could find on a shared branch. And actually Heggarty's research I did mention in that video also. They also pointed out the same issue that the Danish research team had with the fact that the times associated with the proto-terms presented in the Heggarty paper, or rather inferred from the Heggarty paper, get placed temporally before the archaeological attestation. Now, in the Kassian and Strunk article, they actually point out that Heggarty, in the supplementary material, I think it's part 2.2.1, preempted this criticism and in a rather inelegant way tried to give a kind of sucker punch to Indo-Europeanists that might kind of point this out. And they basically said that in their opinion, it's possible that terms like wheel might have had an abstract meaning long before a wheel actually as a concrete noun came into existence. Strunk and Kassian present their critique of this perspective, and I understand where they're coming from, because a wheel in and of itself, it's not the abstract nature of its roundness that makes a wheel a thing. It's the fact that it forms a part of, for the time, a complex piece of engineering that was moving and load bearing and came together to form part of a bigger tool that enabled people to carry things and move things across distance. You know, wheel means something more than just something that is round, right? Now, in a much more elegant way, Kassian and Starostin gave their opinion on this, and I will quote it for you because they do it better than I ever could. Yeah, so they start by talking about going from an abstract circle idea to a concrete wheel seems unusual for them. And then they say, it gets worse though. Most Indo-Europeanists agree that the reduplicated queklo, wheel, is a nominal derivate from the verbal root quel, to move. So if anything, this original nominal stem did not so much refer to an idea of being round as it did to an object used to facilitate movement. And what other candidate than wheel could that particular object be? I think that pretty much sums up what the Danish team and what Kassian and Starostin were trying to say about the times presented in the Heggarty article. I do like Starostin and Kassian's critique because it's kind of funny. They point out a lot of interesting things, and like I said, they do their own reinterpretation of the Heggarty data, which is well worth checking out. And yeah, I just noticed that a lot of people were talking about the Danish team's letter, which is fine, but I think it's useful to talk about the Starostin and Kassian critique as well, because they both go hand in hand. So I hope this gives you a little bit of reading material for the next few days. I will be back very soon with another interesting video. This time it's going to be on the Illyrian language, so stay tuned for that. It's been an honour and a pleasure to have a few moments today talking to you. I hope everybody has a good day, and goodbye for now.